Hey, thanks for listening and tuning in to Fresh Air at 5, the podcast. This is episode 61. This week I bring you a short week of listening because it was so cold here that I chickened out and didn't get out, but there's a lot of things that happened and went on. There was Tuesday Twos, and I missed celebrating the mathematics of February 22nd, 2022, and all that went on. I saw that all happening on Twitter. Hopefully you did. I got into Wordle this week, and so Wordle's a thing that I do now, and I'm getting a little bit better at it, and still just working through how to spell words. And at the end of the week here, I listened to Teachers on Fire, and I also listened to, can't remember the other one yesterday, but it's there. And today I listened to, as I'm recording this at the end of the week, Shooks and Gifts. So shout out to some podcasters this week and thinking about the Ukraine, Russian conflict, and praying for our neighbors in Ukraine. All right, talk to you later. Have a good one. And here we go with episode 61, Fresh Air at 5.
I'm AJ Bianco from Podcast PD, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows in the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Fresh Air at 5, the podcast. I'm your host, Brian Carpenter. Fresh Air at 5 is my regular attempt to exercise by walking about my neighborhood to take in podcast content, then reflect in an unedited video, which I finally post to my Twitter channel. This podcast will be a regular collection of the audio from these selfie videos. You can follow me on Twitter at FreshAirAtFive or check out my website, briancarpenter.com, for other content I have created and collected. Hey, PLN, Thursday, February 24, 2022, out here for my afternoon walk. This is the first walk of this week because Carpenter was too scared of the wind and cold to get out. Okay, no, it was actually super cold, and I didn't need to go outside and walk in the 45-kilometer winds on Monday and Tuesday, and yesterday was pretty chilly as well, so I stayed in and slept in, took care of myself. So that was what I was doing. What were you doing? Anyhow, I didn't listen to podcasts either, so my learning this week has been slowed. And, I noticed the impact of that as I am getting through the end of the week, that I'm like, wow, I kind of feel sluggish, but it's probably because I haven't been getting some exercise. So take care of yourself. Figure out a way that you can get some movement and exercise in your day and some learning as well. So I'm doing that this afternoon as I'm delivering papers. I think we're right around, +5, maybe right now, maybe +4. And we did get snow overnight, so there's a little bit of snow left around. And so this morning was pretty snowy and icy out when I woke up as well. So, all right, there's my excuse, or my reason, or whatever, but that's what it is, and that's the way it is. All right, so I'm listening to Mindset Monday, and George brings up a good point on Mindset Monday, Season 2, Episode 8, about accepting criticism and praise, and what we do with those things, and how we navigate our own growth and learning from the praise of others and the criticism of others, and how much do we know them, and do we not know them. And at the end of the day, I appreciate, George, what you had to say about, the praise of others is a thing, but you got to wake up with yourself every day. So what are you doing to better yourself, to improve yourself, and make a difference to those around you? Staying true to yourself as opposed to building a brand that is not you, because you got to live with yourself every day. All right, Fresh Air at 5, the brand, and it's fresh and just real, and that's what I do here. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon. Hope you're having a good day. I'm going to try to listen to one more podcast before the end of my day. Peace. Bye. One last thing for February 24, 2022. What a week. What a week. I'm just going to say it right now. I woke up this morning to the disturbing news that Russia invaded Ukraine. And what is that, the impact of that in our world today? And that was kind of the gray cloud that hung over my head as I got out of bed this morning. And then a whole bunch of other things happened. And, it was a rough start to my day. But here we are at the end of the day. I'm feeling better now because I got out and did a little walking, listened to some podcasts. And right now, I just listened to Tim Cavey talk on episode 217 of the Teachers on Fire podcast as he brings us why schools should post on social media and tell their stories, where our schools should tell their stories, and where do they tell their stories, and how do they tell their stories to get the message of the goodness going on in the walls that all the teachers and students may see and live every day, but it's not getting out being told. Something I struggle with, I have a classroom Instagram page that I said at the beginning of the year, I'm going to do something about this. And well, I have hardly done anything about it. My students have made some cool, rad things. We have done a lot of cool projects and creations. And have I got anything to show for it on social media? Nope. Not at all. So that's something, Tim, thanks for the reminder that we need to take the time to do this because, as you said towards the end of this episode, your social media presence is your portfolio of evidence of the work that you are doing. All right, that's all for today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And tonight, the Canucks are playing the Flames. Go, Canucks, go. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Have a fabulous one, and I will see you in the morning. Okay, bye. Hey, PLN Friday, February 25, coming to you live this morning from the garage. Well, okay, I was out walking this morning for Fresh Air at 5. I got out the door, grabbed my phone, headphones, went for my walk, listened to my podcast that I was going to listen to this morning, and then I went to record and my phone died, and that's it. So I'm sorry I don't have the car noise and all that other stuff that goes along with me walking along the street, feet crunching in the crispy snow and things like that. So this is from the garage. This is Carpenter from the garage. And so how are you doing? I hope you're doing well today. It is Friday. We made it through the week. It was a short week here for us in British Columbia as we had Family Day on Monday. But you know what? A short week is a super long week because the online students that I work with don't stop working over the weekend. So they just keep on putting stuff in and lesson prep and things like that for class. It just all gets shifted in my space. And so, yeah, it was a busy week. It's Friday. We got some learning to do this morning and then wrapping up the week, getting into the weekend. All right, this morning as I was out walking, I listened to Shooks and Giff with Jen Giffen, and she had on guest Lydia Krupp. And Lydia, it was great to hear from you and all the excitement and enthusiasm you've got going on. And as you're taking the sketchnoting course with Jen, so good, so fantastic to keep on learning. Jen, I was super excited about this episode because I went looking for the show notes for last week's episode 10, season 5, as you had on Vicky Heupel, and I was like, whoa, who's this Krupp? I had no idea. So Lydia, I got a little preview on the website because I saw it ahead of time on the website. Don't know if you meant that, Jen, but it was there. And so I was excited about that. And also, just a shout out to Jen for having guests on. Tom Mulaney was on back in episode 6 of season 5. And my students and I listened to Tom's podcast about the fonts that he talked about recently. So it was great to connect with him. Okay, I got one more thing to say. Hang on. One more thing for February 25, 2022. And so continuing my thoughts on Shooks and Giff season 5, episode 11, as Jen has on guest. But Lydia Krupp, she had Vicky Heupel on the previous episode. Lydia brought some great goodness and some just for fun segments and lots of things to consider. Lydia's involved with TCEA and one organization that I haven't become familiar with yet, but should. Great to hear from you, Lydia, your enthusiasm, and I will be connecting with you on Twitter, and I hope that this encourages you this morning. And wherever you are in the world, I think you're in Texas, and we're here here in Canada, Jen, go, we're out in the cold weather right now. And right now we're just experiencing a cold snap here in British Columbia and across all of Canada right now. They're reporting record low temperatures that we've never seen before in probably since 93, right around where I live. So it's pretty snappy and chilly. But anyhow, Lydia, thank you so much. I'm going to take a look at the show notes, and I'm going to dig into some of the things that you were talking about sheets. I think the coding in sheets is pretty nifty. I am not a coder type, but I got a friend at school who is a coder type, and that might be curious to him that he can incorporate some of that into his work. All right. Have a fabulous day, all, and stay safe, stay warm, and, thinking about Ukraine today as the world is in conflict, as they have conflict there with Russia. Okay. Peace. Have a great Friday. Bye-bye. As my one word for 2021 is appreciate, I appreciate you giving me a listen as I've created this podcast experience for you. It's a unique Blinkist or Coles Notes version of the content I take in, like a highlight reel, so that you can hopefully find other interesting podcasts you may not have considered before. I've recorded the specific podcast episodes in the show notes for your learning convenience. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming episodes. And if you enjoyed this podcast and its format, share it with someone else. Tweet about your experience or give it a review on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to podcasts. Fresh Air at 5 can also be found on Voice Ed Radio. Your voice is right here, and on the Education Podcast Network, podcasts for educators, podcasts by educators. I hope you have a fantastic day and get some fresh air before the day is out, and take care of yourself because you're worth it.